always tell when a streak's going to come to an end. You win a couple of games, you probably shouldn't.
There are teams out there that could use that quality of playoff goaltending. All right, Ray, you ready to do this?
Yep, let's go.
Powered by Rev Media in partnership with TSN, it is season 7 of the Rain Dregs Hockey Podcast, presented by our title sponsor, Tim Hortons. The Tim's Hockey Challenge is back in the Tim Hortons app with a chance to win daily and monthly prizes for picking players who you think will score. Plus, there's a chance to win a new Hyundai Tucson as part of the grand prize at the end of the year. Canadians, you can also try and keep a 7-day streak alive. And if you do that, you win a coffee or tea for a week, 7 straight days. Check it all out. TimHortons.ca for a full list of prizes. And Ray, on this episode of the Rain Dregs Hockey Podcast, I don't want to give it entirely away here, but every episode at the end, Chris Abunia joins us, and we go through the Tim's Hockey Challenge. We have good fun with it because, hey, we're all competitive, right? And we're picking who we think is going to score in the night ahead, and we're chirping, we're jabbing each other. So there is an Olympic-related Tim Hortons initiative, which we're going to unveil as part of our Tim's Hockey Challenge at the end of this episode. And it's kind of like Christmas morning, Ray. There's some real cool things that go into this initiative. We've been down this road before. I got to be careful. I don't want to sell it too hard. But people are going to want to tune in at the end of the episode because we've got some stuff that people are going to want to see and they're going to want to hear about.
The kid in you will love it, and the kids will love it. It's really good stuff. It looks fantastic. It really does.
It does. So join us a little bit later in the program for the Tim's Hockey Challenge, and we're going to boast a little bit there. I think the majority of us involved here in Rain Dregs actually had a good Tuesday, had a real good showing as part of the Tim's Challenge. So we'll get to that.
Which makes you wonder how bad we were for weeks. And I thought, oh, I'm making up ground here. It turned out I didn't.
No, bit stodgy. I mean, collectively, you kind of want to ride the high.
I'd say this is the first one like this, though, like on Tuesday. Yeah. I mean, hell, even Ryan got made some traction, which was something.
He did. Look, headlines jammed up here. There's a lot going on now, and not to dive too specifically into the individual pieces, which we will do in the Canadian Brewhouse headlines momentarily. Kind of predictable, isn't it, right? We're less than a week outside of the February 4th Olympic roster freeze. I don't believe, based on, the sources that I'm talking to, that it's going to be a flurry of activity between now and February 4th. There's going to be some trades that we see. And maybe, and we'll talk about Panarin in headlines here. That would be a significant move, obviously. But I think from post-Olympics, when the freeze lifts on February 22nd to March 6th, is going to be chaotic between trades and teams going, okay, geez, I better get my player signed. I don't want this player walking into free agency, that kind of stuff. So it's sort of starting to have that tone to it at this point.
We forever talk about, well, there's no buyers, there's no sellers, or there's buyers, but no sellers, because nobody can quite decide if they're in it or if they're out of it. Well, look at the standings, and they kind of are close in a lot of places, but there's some teams that have probably pivoted pretty clearly into being a seller. And so instead of talking about what ifs, they're now talking about actual deals that could happen if they can make the pieces fit, right? So the drumbeat of the season goes on, and then pretty soon it gets louder and louder. The deadline's of course going to turn things into where the deals happen, but teams are starting to, whether they want to or not, they're being separated. And I think their path forward becomes more clear.
All right. We're going to get into one of those teams, the New York Rangers, part of our headline to you by the Canadian Brewhouse. Hockey lives at the Canadian Brewhouse. Catch every game with beer specials, game day prizes, so much more. all at the best hockey house in town. See in store at thecanadianbrewhouse.com for details on what your local brew house is up to this hockey season. I mean, Chris Drury, Ray, and the New York Rangers are flat out getting down to business, right? And it feels like they've been on that wheel for a while now. The Rangers informing prior to a 5-2 loss to the New Jersey Devils that star forward Artemi Panarin will not dress again prior to the Olympic break, which means a trade is obvious. It's top priority. Now, Panarin prefers an extension to complete this trade. Why wouldn't he? He's got a no-move clause. He holds the cards. Why would he want to pester with something that doesn't give him security for his future? Why worry about that in the summer if you can get the right destination right now? So from Artemi's perspective, I can understand that. So you're going to read, we have already, because this news came out on Wednesday, some of the teams that we believe would have interest, and there'd be many. It's going to come down to a couple or a few for Panarin. You wonder about LA, Kenny Holland looking to add a punch of offense. Tom Dunn and the Carolina Hurricanes, always in that mix. Wonder a little bit about the Washington Capitals. Why not? Right? And you can create a list from there. But of the teams that I've mentioned, is there a fit, or does one kind of jump off the page more than another for you?
Well, I mean, Washington is interesting to me, but if you look at last year, about 6 of their guys hit career highs. Everything went perfectly in what became a magical Ovechkin season.
Yeah.
Then Dubois gets hurt this year. Guys take a step back. It's like it was. I don't want to say it was obvious it was going to happen. Whatever's next door to obvious felt like all those guys weren't going to hit those same numbers again, and they haven't.
Yeah.
So they have a really strong prospect pool. The Capitals do. Do they sacrifice a little bit of that for Panarin, as he would be kind of the next bridge past Ovechkin? Although, what's Panarin, 34?
34.
Yeah. So he's, it's not like you're signing a 28-year-old.
No.
LA makes a hell of a lot of sense. They're desperate for offense.
Yeah.
They play game after game, and it's the same game. And they don't score enough most nights to win as regularly as probably their play would suggest they might, because they're in a lot of games. They just don't score enough. You just can't win that way. The one thing I think is important, you kind of went over it. Panarin's got the no trade. He doesn't want to move twice.
No.
And so that's, I think, the key to this is that his exercising of that no trade is to go to a place he wants to, but he doesn't want to go to Team A, run the season out, and then go to a new team in the summer.
No.
Panarin's a little different. When I watch him play, he's a bit of an artist, right? And feel of the system will really matter for him. Some guys can jump from team to team and be successful. I don't think Panarin's that way. I think he's a great player, but I think the feel of the way that a team plays would matter more to him than it might for somebody else.
Yeah. And there's a belief he wants a 4-year extension at $11 million per. He believes that, at 34, he's got 4 high quality years ahead of him. That's what he believes, right?
Well, the last 7 years, signed a 7-year deal with the Rangers and led them in scoring 7 years.
Yeah.
So he's played to his contract. You would look at the playoffs and say there's been a couple times where he's been quiet, and that would be a concerning factor if you're looking to sign him.
I should throw another team into the mix, and one team that I think is legit, and just the other is what we do in this market of Toronto. Dallas, the team that I think is legit.
Yep.
But here's where it gets complicated if you're the Dallas Stars, right? You've got Jason Robertson on an expiring contract. If Artemi Panarin is adamant he needs the extension, Dallas isn't a fit. I don't think they are. But why wouldn't you, if you're Jim Nill and Tom Goularty of the Dallas Stars, if you can convince this guy to come in as a rental player, Dallas has given up some picks, they've given up prospects, and they've acquired good pieces. I mean, Mikko Rantanen being Exhibit A, obviously, but if you could get Panarin to come in as a rental, you probably give the assets up to acquire him, and then wouldn't that be a fun fight between Panarin and Jason Robertson for the remainder of this year and the playoffs to see who gets the pot of gold at the end of whatever that rainbow is in the Stanley
Well,
Cup playoffs?
except what if things go really well for them? Say Dallas
Yeah,
does find the deal and they bring him in and sign him to an extension because that's part of the deal. Like, let's just
yeah,
say that happens. Who says Robertson has to go? What if somebody else does?
you're right.
Right?
You're
Like,
right.
so somebody that you don't think of right off the top of your head, what if it's
Yeah,
them? Like, it's not going to be Wyatt Johnston,
no,
because he's younger, but what if it's one of the older guys?
it
And
could
I
be.
don't like, I don't like throwing names around because it somehow
Yeah,
builds a life of its own. But there are stranger things that happened in that scenario. There,
it's such a Dallas play too, isn't
yeah. Well, if they're going to beat
it?
Vegas and they're going to beat Colorado, and
Yeah,
Vegas, I'll temper because they're still finding their way. But Vegas does it all the time. They've made a trade, and you go, well, how are they going to fit everybody in? Well, they do it.
yeah,
They do it.
they do it.
And um, Panarin's a Panarin's a, a really really good player. You would make some other plans, I think, to acquire him.
Yeah. So let's drift around here a little bit in the
Yep.
Canadian Brewhouse headlines because look, obviously Artemi Panarin is our focal point. Unless he gets traded, and it seems imminent given the fact that he's being held out, which would piss me off if I'm a high stakes season ticket holder of the New York Rangers. I mean, there's a few games left here, so
You know who it pissed off, Drakes?
yeah.
The Rangers. Did you see them play last night?
Yes, I did.
So
Yeah.
I'll tell you who was pissed off. How about those guys that went there and now all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, this is not
Oh,
what I
yeah.
thought." I
No,
mean,
fair enough.
that would have been a kick in the pants yesterday for the players for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Fantasy hockey time. All right. And anytime there's a player of significance, in this case, Artemi Panarin, Leafs Nation comes alive. The Canadian
No,
markets
stop it.
do. The
Stop
Canadian
it, Drake.
markets
Drake,
mostly
stop
do.
it.
Okay, but
Stop it. What
if
are they
you're
going to
Brad
offer
Treliving, yeah, and you're
what
not ready to throw in the towel yet on this season,
does he
is
have
it
the
worth?
towel in his hand?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you know, you're not trading Easton Cowan, I don't think. Um,
No, I'm saying,
maybe.
does
Well,
he have the towel? Does he have the towel in his hand to throw it?
he has to. Going
Well, he
into the
better
next four
have.
games. Yeah,
Drakes, I mean, like, what are they going to offer their 2053 first rounder? Like,
yeah,
they got to
yeah,
start drafting some people eventually, don't they?
yeah,
They, this seems, excuse me, this seems like absolutely 100% the wrong way to go,
yeah.
in my opinion.
Maybe in the summer, right? If this sort of scenario presented in the summer, okay, well that's something you go to Morgan Riley, hey bud, you got a no move, but it hasn't worked out. We'd like to whatever. I mean, you
Yeah.
conjure up different scenarios, like the Vegas Golden Knights seem to do on a pretty regular basis, right? Um, to do that in season, no. All right. Well, fair or unfair. I mean, we look at it objectively. I guess if you're Brad Treliving, you're Craig Berube, you're a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs as an organization, you're not willing to give up the fight. So, I look at the pending unrestricted free agents like Lawton, like Bobby McMahon. McMahon's probably going to command what, 4.5, 5 schmil a year as a back-to-back 20 goal guy. Is
Crazy,
it
eh?
time?
Crazy.
Yeah. Is
Hey,
it time to
crazy,
cut
isn't it?
bait on
Like,
these guys? What do you think?
well, okay, but here's the thing: they don't have to do it today, even though since people have started talking about McMahon in particular and Lawton.
Yeah.
it feels like, oh, you have to do it before the Olympic break, but you don't. And then you've got 11
No.
and a half days past the Olympic break. Like
Yeah.
it, the deadline, looms there, but there's so many hours for them to make a trade. It's not that they're already having talks in general. And so now you start putting together these theoretical deals with other GMs. And when you get right down to it, you have a gut feel of this is the end. That is where team A is going to go. That's as far as they're going to go. So I can either wait and that deal will come back around, or if I wait, that deal goes away. So that will be the impetus of the trade. It's like they don't have to do it today. Like
No.
the deal is still there. If I'm and this team's been connected because the dots connect easily, but the Oilers have been connected to McMahon, right? It's kind of what they could use.
Hmm.
Um, the Oilers' interest in him will be the same on January 28th as it'll be on February 26th.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so you get through these next 4 games and then you reevaluate where you're at, I would think. But man, they're 8 points out right now. And
Hmm.
they're 8 points out of third in the Atlantic and the wild card, because the first and second wild cards right now are both teams from the Atlantic. It looks
Yeah.
like it's 5 teams from the Atlantic that are going to get in at this point, and 3 from the Metro. And
Hmm.
that hill to climb is is enormous for them. And what makes you think that adding pieces and taking away more of the future is the right play? I don't see it. Not for me, not this year.
Yeah, and Chief seemed exasperated yet again after the loss to the Sabres on Tuesday, right? Like
Yeah.
I can't remember who asked the question. I'd love to give credit, but it was along the lines of like, what are you learning? What have you learned as a team, through all of this process? And he wasn't angry at the question, but you could tell he was frustrated about having to answer it again. And specific to that Buffalo game, he's like, well, defensive mistakes, that a couple of unlucky breaks with pucks going in off sticks, but the goalies can't keep the puck out of the net. Like it was just a collection of things
Yeah.
that aren't quick fixes, right? They're just not, and that's where this team is at. And to go back to the New York Rangers, I guess if I'm willing to give Drury and company credit, they're not worried about public opinion. Maybe they should be, but they're not. They're not. They recognize they've got a flawed roster, and their job is to try and fix that, right? With a retool, which is
Right.
why they're at where they're at. So you're
But
fooling
okay, but
yourself. Loops.
Dregs, like you said, retool. That is that thing that it's become this its
The
own
R
world.
word.
Yeah, retooled, rebuild, refurbish, replant, whatever the hell you want to call it. They're all rebuilds. They really are. As soon as you start trading the upper echelon of your team, it's a rebuild. Now, some of them might go quicker, some of them might not. Some of them
Yeah.
seem in theory like it's the right idea, and it might not be. Like you just once you start carving into your house, it's like doing a reno at home. This is true. As soon as you carve into the wall to do an addition or a new closet, we haven't got an update on that, by the way. Um, it's
It's
generally
awesome.
speak okay, fabulous, but
Yeah.
you there's always a surprise in the wall, right? Like the wiring's not what the electrician thought, or oh man, we to do that we have to do this. That's what building a team is. You like they can see where they're flawed. They go to correct it,
Yeah.
and pretty soon 2 other things pop up. An
Yeah.
injury takes a star player out. You don't have the offense you thought. Like they're but at some point you got to sit there and go, I don't really want to do this, but I have to because
Yeah.
there's there's no realistic path in front of me. And I mean, Vancouver got to that. I think Winnipeg's going to get to that if they haven't already. Toronto should be there. The Rangers are there. Like there are a lot of teams um, that have had to reevaluate what their place in the standings and their place in the league right now.
Yeah. And look, I mean, Brad Treliving is one of those GMs that's always making calls and involved in every conversation, whether he has the assets or not. I don't know. Did you catch Overdrive on Wednesday night with Chris Pronger?
Yeah,
So
that was the one where Noodles were in the kung fu vest.
yeah, which was hilarious, by the way.
Yes.
Like I couldn't hear it. I was in a restaurant, but I'm watching. Like,
It's very good.
what the hell is he wearing? Like, is he Judge Jamie? Is he Father Noodles?
He was
like, what was going
he was
on?
very proud of that new sweater, and of course, took the opportunity to say he looked like a jujitsu instructor.
They howled. It was a very funny segment. But okay, with all due respect to Prongs, he pays attention to what's going on around the National Hockey League, right? But he's not, I don't think he needs to be as invested, say, as you are, because you do games multiple times over the course of a week. It's your job to
Right.
know what's going on. But I'm listening to him, and I watched it again after the fact. I'm like, he knows a lot about the Toronto Maple Leafs draft picks, and he knows a lot about the contracts of the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I'm like, it smells like Prongs poking around the world.
Really?
So I sent him a text. Yeah, so I sent him a text this morning, essentially asserting that, right? Like, I don't know, man. Like, are you trying to get back into management? Like, what is going on here? You were really invested for a 10-minute interview in Toronto. Anyway, needless to say, he shot that down in a hurry, and he goes, I have zero interest in being told what to do and how to do it.
Kind of sounded like when he played.
Yeah.
Kind of sounded like when he played.
Exactly.
Like that was his personality. Now, here's one other thing, and because you brought up Prongs, and he's like, I would take it to the studs.
Yeah.
And the theory is great. The execution of it is really difficult because yeah. And so, like, again, I live out in Vancouver, I mention a lot, but as they're trying to rebuild here, they're in 32nd place, right? That's what you are. Until you get to the bottom, you can't climb out of it. And the bottom means that there are more players that have to go. And as much as you would like to get there, it's difficult to make those trades. You can say, I've got really good players, which they do, and the Leafs do, and the Rangers do, but executing those trades is not as easy as it sounds.
Right.
It just isn't. And for a multitude of reasons, for money, for no trades, for not the right fit. And if you're talking about the studs in Toronto, like taking it to the studs, then you're talking about Nylander and Riley and potentially Matthews, right? Like,
potentially, you have to.
Yeah, you have to. And then, are you really going to do that? And if you are, don't forget, they've got a new president in there that's been there for a year that said we're going to win and we're going to win fast, and doesn't look like that's happening right now. People start to get itchy.
Yeah. And in such a volume of media in this market, I don't know if you had an opportunity to read it. Jonas Siegel of The Athletic wrote about the sports science department now of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and how a key figure is no longer there. And all those stories that start to accumulate when things aren't going well, right? With a volume of media in a Canadian market. So whether it's Brad Treliving as general manager or it's Keith Pelley as head of the Leafs, those are the body blows that you're taking off ice and outside of the realm of what your roster looks like. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, to be fair and to be frank. Do you think, though, that is it overstating to say that this 4-game set that the Leafs are embarking on, Seattle, then Vancouver, then Calgary, and Edmonton, crucial? I mean, they're 8 points. They're 8 points out of a wild card spot.
If they don't win 3 of them, if they don't win 3 of them, I don't know how they could possibly be looking at adding any players. I don't know how they could look at adding players right now. Again, like there is that old saying, don't throw good money after bad. they traded first round picks for Lawton and Carlo last year. If they don't finish in the bottom 5 in the league this year,
Yeah.
they lose their top 5 pick this year. Like, so they could
It's
finish 6th from the bottom. They could finish 26th. And the Boston Bruins have Fraser Minton and the Leafs first round pick.
yeah.
Like, what a deal for Don Sweeney that has turned out to be. Last year at the deadline, I think the Bruins should be instructive for some teams. Last year at the deadline, they're stumbling around and things aren't going very well for them. Do you remember their deadline last year? They
Oh,
ripped
they
apart
moved
their
some key
team.
pieces. Oh, yeah.
Marchand, right?
Yeah.
Marchand, Carlo. Um, oh man, there's about 5 of them. They moved last year.
Frederick went, right?
Frederick went to
Yeah.
Edmonton.
Yeah.
There was 5 of them anyway. I've got them in my notes and I can't find it right now. But there was 5 guys they traded at the deadline. They brought in some draft picks. They completely remade their team,
Yeah.
and they didn't do it while
Coyle was in that
carving out
group too, right?
Coyle for sure.
Yeah.
And they did it without carving away their future.
Yeah.
They changed. They didn't take all futures, but they got younger and they got faster and they got
Yeah.
more physical in the summer. Like, they had an idea of how they wanted to do it, and I've been quite impressed with that. To me, is as quick a path shift as you can make. And
Right.
now you have to hope some of these first rounders, they have a couple really good ones. We saw them at the World Juniors. They got a couple American kids that are
Yeah.
really good. Their first rounder last year is this 6'7" giant Letourneau who plays at Boston College. They've done it in a really impressive way. And I think for Toronto, that's kind of what they have to look at.
Yeah. And to again throw salt into the wound, now you see Fraser Minton, whether it's temporarily or not, playing second line center for
Yeah,
the
okay.
Boston
Trade,
Bruins,
but he's good. Okay, so I just
He's
found it
good.
here.
He's good. Yeah.
Marchand, Coyle, Carlo, Frederick, Brazo. So they traded
Right.
all 5 of those guys, and
Yeah.
that was it. They're like, our year's not going to be anything. They finished 7th from the bottom. They drafted
Mm.
James Higgins, but if the Leafs finish 7th from the bottom, they don't have a first round pick.
Mm.
Like, that hurts.
That hurts. Okay, shift gears over to one of the games last night, which caught my eye, and I caught a chunk of this game, was Ottawa and the Colorado Avalanche. Ottawa's been up and they've been down, and stuff going on off the ice. Just so many things around that organization at this point of the season. They held the Colorado Avalanche to 18 shots, which is something. It is James Reimer making 16 saves in
Okay, I'm laughing
5-2 win.
because if you would have had, they've won, the Sens have won back-to-back games, right?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
they thumped the Vegas, and they
Yes.
beat and they win again last night against Colorado. And their 2 goalies are Mads Sogard and James Reimer. Travis
Unreal.
Green has said, he goes, our team has played well. We just don't get any
Yeah.
saves.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's just the way it's been. So when I saw James Reimer in net last night, I was like, holy, it's like whack-a-mole in there. Like, whoever, it's like it's a different guy all the time. But they've got I think they've got a pretty good team.
Yeah.
If they can, and that's what they thought Ulmark was going to do in goal for them, was solidify that position for them. And it hasn't worked that way, but they're pretty good. But they're in that fight too, Dregs. Like, they got to climb up over. They got to climb up over all these teams, and they're tied with Toronto. Do you believe in Ottawa any more than Toronto? Or, like,
Yeah.
they got to get to 8 points. They got to climb 8 points,
Yeah.
and that's a lot.
What's going on with the Avs, Ray? I mean, they've lost 5 of their last 7 games now. Just how difficult it is to be as good as they are for 82 games?
Part of it, for sure. I mean, the relentlessness of the pace they were on, I mean, that's not sustainable. You're gonna lose some games somewhere along the road. They lost Gabe Landeskog. They lost Devon Taves. Their goaltending, which was a really good duo, they've been banged up a little bit, and then they haven't been quite as good. I think part of this was kind of inevitable. I mean, they weren't going to win 70 games this year. The league and the travel, and it's just too hard. And so I don't think I'd be particularly worried, but knowing Colorado, they're starting to get a little itchy about, do we have to improve our team? Do we need a third line center? Do we, can we move some pieces out to try and strengthen our depth? And
Yeah.
I think those are all things they think about, but
Yeah.
until they get healthy again, which is probably after the Olympics, they probably don't have to worry too much about it.
How surly do you think McKinnon is at this point?
11 out of 10. I'll tell you one thing, and I can say this with, I think, a degree of confidence.
Yeah.
When things
Yeah.
are going like that for a player like Nate with that temperament, when he comes back to the bench, nobody's grabbing the door in case he decides to slam it with your hand in there. When he sits down, like, if you're the next guy, you're just a little sharper about if that stick becomes kindling, right? That
Yeah.
you're the next guy sitting there. Um, you could always, I love when you catch the guy, somebody's lost it on the bench. I mean, I have some history in this, and the guy's breaking his stick in anger, and you see the guys on either side of them, and they're leaning way to the left and way to the right. Nobody says anything, but the stick splinters are just flying all over the place. Man, that
Yeah.
stuff entertains me to no end.
Who do you
It's
think,
just
like,
a,
Landeskog
it's,
would have
yeah.
the respect of McKinnon, but who's the next player on that team that's going to say, "Okay, Nate, calm down, man. Like, stop it." Anyone?
I don't know the guys well enough to say, but it would be hard to do.
Oh,
You'd have to be one of his buddies.
yeah,
Uh, like, I mean, buddies in, like, someone that talks to him a little bit. It could be a guy like Brock Nelson, who doesn't say a whole lot,
yeah,
that
maybe,
quietly says something, or more likely it's Jared Bednar, who's known him longer than anybody, who goes
yeah,
down there, and that's not always, "Hey, Nate, do you mind not breaking your stick?" type of call, right? Like, so, but I would imagine he's frustrated because he's uber competitive, and this has
yeah,
been a sloppy stretch for them. They've just not been very good, and that would drive him up the walls. It really would.
yeah. Why don't we wrap up the Canadian Brewhouse headlines with some discipline news, right? So, on a
Yeah.
couple of fronts, but start with Bryan Rust and getting the 3-game suspension handed down for the elbow to the back of the neck, back of the head of Vancouver's Brock Boeser. I mean, you more or less called this, on Tuesday. You thought it would be a 2-3-game suspension, and it
Yeah.
ended up being 3.
Now, the only part of the suspension I don't like is that people are surprised it's 3.
Mm,
That, oh, he doesn't have it in his history, which he does not. He's not been a player suspended multiple times. Given some of the other suspensions, this seems a little bit harsh. This, to me, Dregs, and we've been over this 1,000 times, this shouldn't
hmm
be considered harsh. This should, in my mind, this
Yeah,
should be considered the standard. You hit a guy with no particular reason in the head, when probably a different hit could have been applied, or a poke check could have been applied, because you're just
yeah.
trying to end the game, basically, at that point. Um, I, I, f- I think it's the right suspension, and I wish there were more of them, to be
hmm
honest.
And not an indictment on Rust. I mean, we
No, it
know
just,
he's not
hey,
that type of player. Yeah.
shit happens. It just
Yes.
happens. Like, it,
Yeah.
it, and it happened. And if you look at Brian Rust, immediately he bends down and to check on Besser. He knows it's wrong. Like, he knows the outcome of the hit he was trying to make was wrong.
Yeah.
He knows right away, and the guys generally do.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean it shouldn't be suspended, though.
Yeah. I think you'll find this interesting. It's just a clarification of how discipline is dispensed because the fact that William Nylander's $5,000 fine for flipping the bird was dispensed by George Peros in the Department of Player Safety. It was interesting, right? It was noteworthy because normally when it's off-ice player activities, and it doesn't have to be off-ice, it can be pregame, part of the warm-up. If something happens on the bench, Colin Campbell, the head of hockey operations, normally is the guy that manages that. And then Peros in the Department of Player Safety, they manage the in-game activities, right? So I got clarification from the league on this yesterday, and it seems somewhat obvious. They're just saying, all right, well, no, we just finally thought that, okay, if it's player related, then Peros and the Department of Player Safety should manage it, whether or not it's, the middle finger salute or it's whatever. So I don't, it really isn't that big of a deal. It's probably a bigger deal for Coley Campbell, who now has to do less. And he's probably happy about that at this stage of his career.
Well, yeah, I kind of think it should be one department. It really does feel like that, doesn't it?
In the field of play, I think you're right. You're right. Yeah. But if it has nothing to do with in-game, in the arena, players get involved in stuff away from their place of work. Well, that's different.
Well, sure. Different. That's different. I mean, Nylander's sitting in the arena, and I don't know, it becomes pretty obvious that's what something had to, as along with the chat of, hey, don't do that again.
Yeah. I got it. All right, those are your headlines. Thank you to the Canadian Brewhouse. Next week, we will bring in our favorite segment, one of them anyway, Ask Rain Dregs Anything. Send us your thoughts and your questions. You can DM us if you like on X or visit our website, raindregs.com, and submit your question. But as we teased off the top of the show, we're going to bring in Chris Sabunia. All right. Zuby's going to join us as he always does for the Tim's Hockey Challenge. And Zuby, maybe let's just get the update out of the way, because Ray was pretty eager and pretty excited to talk about. Well, we'll do the game first. You gave us a bit of a sneak peek there, Ray.
That's what it is. It's just a sneak peek. It's just a sneak peek.
Okay. Yeah, but there's some things that we got to talk about specific to the initiative that I teased. So first, let's do the update on what happened on Tuesday night. Let's do that, and then we'll get to the really good stuff.
The update was we all had a very good day on Tuesday, or a good evening at the rink. A couple of us, Dregs and I, even going 3 for 3, the very rare and difficult 3 for 3. Now, did we have the exact same go? We had Celebrini and Dorofeev in 2 and 3, and then I had Caulfield in the first.
I had Tage Thompson in the one hole. Yeah.
There you go. So 3 for 3, both of us. Dregs extending his lead. He's at 32 for 84 rather. Ray had a 2 for 3, as did
nice.
Is that diminished a little bit that Ryan had a 2 for 3 as well?
Yes, I was really happy with myself, and then I was like, no. Doofus picked up 2 for 3, and so that means like anybody could have. My grandson could have picked 2 of them probably.
So Ray's at 24 for 84, 600 points. Shager's at 16 for 84, 350, and I believe Shager's stepdaughters also, they had a 3 for 3.
Oh, yes.
We love to hear the
they were
updates.
2 for 3.
They were 2 as well.
3.
Okay,
2 for 3.
I don't want to. I want to be accurate.
So basically on Tuesday, for whatever reason, if you got out of bed, you had 2 for 3.
Yes, very good. So that's the quick update. The standings haven't changed. We got a gap of 8. Oh, and then with the main account, I'm on a 3-day heater. I've got 88 correct for 27%. Andre Palat last night. I said he's going to get one in his first.
That was the
game.
bomb.
And he scored in the first 5 minutes.
Good for you, man.
Zuby, you're a thoughtful player. I'm an instinct
very
player.
Thoughtful.
Cerebral.
There we go.
Mine have been poor.
Yeah, I'm a classic overthinker, Ray.
Yeah. So how good is this? I feel pride. The Rain Dregs Hockey Podcast should be very proud to be part of Tim Hortons' latest campaign. And this is an exciting one, fellas. It's time to unpack our pride with Tim's Team Canada Olympic hockey cards. Let me give you some details of what we got coming up here. Hold up the
Oh, you want the whole thing? I
binder?
thought I was just
No. Look at this. So that's a card binder, right? Ray's struggling to get it into forward. There we go.
It is. Perfect.
But look at it. And you will notice.
I had this stuff when I was a kid. I love this.
You didn't have the Team Canada collection, though.
No. But I mean the collection of cards in the binder. I love this stuff.
Oh, I know. That's why I
it.
said off the top of the show, it's like Christmas morning. But here's what makes it extra special. It's the first ever of its kind. It's the Olympic theme Team Canada set. Now, we were each gifted a box of the full set, all right? 180 cards featuring men's and women's stars. You've got legends, you've got duos, you've got gold medalists. Rip open that package, Raymond. Let's have a look at it
right now, babe. I wonder who comes out of the first.
Yes, very good. 3 cards per pack.
Sam Reinhart.
Oh, that's breaking news. Yes, okay.
A vintage one of Carey Price.
Yeah.
Who's doing a terrific commercial right now, by the way.
Okay. Yeah.
And world junior gold medalist Logan Stankoven. So you like yours, Dregs?
Well, yes, I do. Yes. Zuby, you go next.
Yeah, I've got
you go next.
Alexis Lafreniere.
A gold medalist.
And I've got Matt
Junior.
Barzal.
Yeah.
Barzal. And this one is this the same? I got a very cool gold medal Carey Price. Is this the same one that you had, Ray?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
That is very cool.
Yeah. Interesting.
It's a great card. Great card.
Love
okay.
it.
Well done. All right. Many believe that this gentleman is going to be Canada's starting goaltender.
Oh.
So that's a good look at Logan Thompson.
Very cool.
Right?
Yes.
Very nice. Leafs fans will love this one, fellas. Mitchie.
If you could get it.
Oh.
Mitch Marner.
Oh, you're such an ass.
I'm going to get it signed.
But you're like, Leafs fans. Yeah. Okay, go on.
Last but certainly not least from the Legends collection. Raymond, this guy tormented you, I'm guessing. You ready?
Which one?
Joe Sakic.
Every time. Joe was one of the guys, honestly, that he never had to look like he was trying.
Yeah.
He was so smooth. Like in everything he did. I have this recollection of Joe when he was with the Quebec Nordiques in his rookie season.
Yeah.
What number was he?
In his rookie season?
Yes.
Oh, boy. I don't know that.
Number 88.
Not even going to guess. 88.
And I remember him playing in Quebec, and he was so good, but he was so young, and they were so much in turmoil.
Yeah.
Right? And then they moved to Colorado, and it all just exploded. But it took 1 second to look at that guy and go, oh my God, he's better than everybody else.
Yep.
Like he was just so good. So good.
What a great initiative.
What a great. Oh, this is fantastic stuff. I can hardly wait to get into a few more of the packs.
Well, and we will dive into them. So you get 3 cards per pack, as we've illustrated here, with chances to win one of 87 Sidney Crosby cards, right? 29 Nate McKinnon signature cards. These are special. You've got Tim's gift cards available and thousands of free coffee and donut prizes only at Tim's, and we strongly encourage that you collect them all.
Get them into those binders, boys. You don't want any corners getting
no messing around.
Rumpled
You're right. That's a very good point.
I mean, at our age, Zuby, there's a lot of stories of I had a great card collection and then my mom threw them out and stuff like that.
Yeah, right. We used to put our favorite one in the spokes of our bike. That was the.
Oh, I did
Always.
that too. So
That was
silly.
your best guy you put in there. He made the best noise.
I've got a
Right.
I've got a buddy of mine in Saskatchewan who 58 years of age. He has boxes and boxes of hockey cards in his attic that he hasn't looked at since he was 10 years old. And I'm
Oh, you
like,
should
bud,
go. You should go look, man.
you got to bring those down. Like, we got to have a look at that, and not for the money. Like, I mean, maybe there is investment dollars. I don't know. I just want to see them. I want to put my hands on those things. So that's a summer project for us.
I think so.
Thanks,
I got mine out in the garage somewhere, so I'll. They're still in some kind of shape. I'll see if I can find my Cam Neely rookie card or whatever was like the best card that I had, which was not that great.
Good deal, brother.
All right.
Thanks for doing it. All right, Chris Sabunia in the Tim's Hockey Challenge, and fun campaign to be a part of. And we're
Really
going
great.
to have some
Yeah.
fun with this. There is something special about being able to tear that pack open, though, right?
Oh, I
Because
like
it's
that
just-
because
you know you're getting
even
something
even
good.
at my age, I'm like, who else is in here? And like, oh, I love that. That's good stuff.
All right, what's the weekend look like?
Got a game tonight. Anaheim's here in Vancouver, and
nice game.
man, some really, really young, terrific players for Anaheim. They come in here. They had won 7 straight, lost the other night, but so game tonight. Tomorrow night, I'm on the red eye through Toronto to Tampa. Outdoor game in Tampa on
Yes.
February 1st
Yeah,
against the Bruins. Then I have February 3rd, I'm in Tampa, and February 5th, I'm in Tampa. So I've got a
You're
week
in
in
it.
Tampa. So but it looks a little warmer there. It's in the late or the high 60s Fahrenheit, which I guess is 15 to 20 Celsius. So I
Yeah.
can't wait to get there. A little warmth, little golf probably on the off day. Get ready for my golf trip the next week. So once the
Yeah,
Olympic
that's
break
coming.
starts. Yeah. What about you? What do you got?
What have we got? Yeah, insider trading normally Thursday, which is it's intriguing in prepping because there's so much going on now, right? Obviously the Panarin stuff and connecting the dots there and everything else, but not a whole lot. Last weekend was busy. This weekend, less busy. So I might actually check out a golf simulator. Might do.
Nice.
Haven't done it in
nice.
a while. Might check it out. All right, buddy. Safe travels.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for listening, everyone. Have a great weekend. Hope you have a good one.
Yeah, it's a special edition of the Rain Dregs Hockey Podcast. So special thank you to our title sponsor, Tim Hortons, and to the Canadian Brew House, thank you as well. Until next time, stay safe, everybody.